morning, all my people, man. Shout out to all y'all in the chat already. I see the chat going up. I'm excited to talk to everybody this morning. Seattle Seahawks, man, they suck. And I love to see it, but it's not going to be as easy as that for the 49ers. They're making it hard on themselves. All right, we're going to get into all that and more right here on San Francisco 49ers Morning Show. Let's go.
Intercepted. It is picked off by Eric Rocker. Over midfield, he'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Cross Talk TV podcast.
Welcome to the San Francisco 49ers Morning Show. I am your host, former NFL and AFL defensive back, Eric Crocker, and I'm excited again another morning to talk to my people, my family. As you can see, we got the Frontline Sports merch in, at least the hats. We got the hats in, we got the beanies in, man. Let's go. You already know, hit me. I'll shoot that to y'all. But if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, all that good stuff. Seattle Seahawks, they lost last night. Russell Wilson tried to pull his BS. He tried. Russell Wilson tried to pull his BS, but luckily they didn't convert on a 2-point conversion. I'm tired of these little dudes, man. They're making it sound like this team is going to break up after this year. So Russell Wilson goes somewhere, Pete Carroll goes somewhere, and it's crazy because this is the only time they've had any type of like legit like trouble in Seattle. I mean, like, this far into the season, it's looking like they're going to have a losing season, right? They're in panic mode. 49ers were like, man, it's been like this for the majority of the last 20 years. Like, shoot, we're good. Like, we know how to handle that, right? It sucks, though. It sucks when you are in that state. Doesn't suck to watch the Seattle Seahawks suck. But San Francisco 49ers, man, right now, we're a little hampered. We're a little hampered. All right, so we're going to get into all that. If you haven't already, Underdog Fantasy, promo code Crocky. I appreciate everybody that's contributed to that and contributed to the show. We got Manscaped. Yesterday was Manscaped Monday. All right, got close to my face. Yesterday was Manscaped Monday. You know what I'm saying? Got to make sure you're good for the week. You feel me? You never know when things might pop off. But promo code Crocky on both of them, Underdog Fantasy and Manscaped. Go to Manscaped right now. Get 20% off on everything in their store by using promo code Crocky. All right. Who's going to Seattle? I thought about it, man. But you know what? I listened to Andy Frisella. I've talked about it. Someone said, I miss your Giants cap. I know. Giants cap. It's in my sports room. But I thought about it, right? I thought about like, man, could go to Seattle, right? Go to the game. And I've been listening to this guy, Andy Frisella. I've talked to you guys about it, a little bit. One thing Andy Frisella said that really jumped out to me was, people, they overvalue their current circumstances. That was one big thing that he said to me, that is like, man, like, take chances because it legit can get better. Like, whatever it is that you're going, like, you think you're good, and it's like, man, we can be better. You know what I'm saying? So that was one thing that stood out to me about what he said. Sacrifices. A lot of people look at things they do and it's like, man, I ain't go here because, I'm sacrificing. And it's like, nah, man, it's an investment into yourself. All right. It's an investment into yourself. It's an investment into your business. All right. So that's another thing I got from him. And something else, I was listening to him this morning and Andy Frisella was talking about like culture. Pretty much he was talking about culture and how people make certain things seem a certain way that they're not. And y'all know me, man. One thing I've always tried to do on the show and everything that I have going on has always been about like being a buck with y'all, right? Like being real. And my real message this morning was listening to Andy Frisella and him talk about living below your means. And we all know we need to, but it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for a lot of people, and people don't want to, they want to make it seem like they have this and that. And I mean, that's a big cultural issue, right? I was on Twitter yesterday, and there was this rapper. I couldn't even tell you his name. YK Cyrus, something like that. And he had talked about, I saw him a few days ago kind of go viral for buying these $325,000 earrings. $325,000 earrings. And gosh, that's so stupid, right? It sounds so stupid. So I guess Chad Johnson must responded because this kid made a response to Chad Johnson. But Chad Johnson's like, those same $325,000 earrings you bought, I get something that looks exactly the same for $10 from Claire's. And we all know Chad Johnson, he's doing that, right? Like he's been doing that since he was playing in the NFL. He's gonna go to Claire's and buy some $10 earrings, and nobody's gonna question the validity of them because he played in the NFL. So he wear his earrings, however big earrings. He paid $10 for them. The YK Cyrus Messiah, whatever kid's name is, spent $325,000 on some earrings. And our culture is messed up, man. Like our culture is messed up. Everybody feels like they have to live above their means or they have to show off these different things that they have. And really, if we want true success, it's not about what it looks like, right? Like what are we building towards the long term? And that's one thing that I've tried to do, live below my means. You know who tries to get me to live above my means? My wife. My wife tries to get me to live above my means. You know, she likes to get all this, like different stuff and whatnot. I'm trying to like focus on really trying to like save, and everything that I spend, I'm trying to really put back into, the business and really, keep things growing in the right direction. Like I want to invest into Frontline Sports Media. You know what I'm saying? I get the hats. Once these hats sell, I'm gonna put them back into getting, whether it's hats, whether it's hoodies, whether it's, sweatsuits, jogger suits, continue to put back into investing into the business, getting a new camera instead of recording on my phone, like, just investing in things that's gonna, make my product better and not feeling like I have to spend hundreds of dollars on this and that. You know, I could right now go and buy a new vehicle, lease a new vehicle, right? But I don't. I drive the same 2009, 2010 Dodge Durango Hemi, and I love my Hemi, right? And I can easily go and have go pay $700 a month on a new car or whatever. And it's like, oh man, Crocky, you gotta live below your means, live below them. So that just kind of, I don't know, it's something on my mind. I was just watching Andy Frisella and listening to him right now, but we gotta live below our means, man. I think as a culture, especially as Black people, and I mean people in general, but we always feel like we have to have these things, like, and that these things are gonna like make us feel better about ourselves or something. I don't know what it is, but live below your means, man. Live below your means. Real quick, if we got the Frontline Sports, we got the beanies in. You feel me? $35 a pop. I haven't even really. I posted it on Instagram, not even on the main thing, but we got the hats. We got the cool blue. You know what I'm saying? Got the flat bills. All right. We got the dad hats in both colors. You know what I'm saying? So $35. You'll have to. I need to create a store or something, but you'll have to DM me on Twitter, DM me on Instagram. $35 a pop. That includes shipping. So Friday I'm shipping hats out. So again, I don't have a ton. I have about 6 of each style. So 6 of this kind of hat with this color, 6 with this one, 6 with this and this. All right. So once they're gone, they're gone. All right. So get on them quick. You know what I'm saying? Frontline Sports. I appreciate everybody that has been, really contributing to everything that I'm doing and the way that I'm trying to grow. All right. Got my guy right here. Andy Frisella is a beast. He'll motivate you. You know what? And it's not even just motivation. I think, yes, it's motivation, but it's, how can I explain this? Andy Frisella, like I didn't have anybody ever, to talk to about business and things like that. I've talked to you guys about that. Like, I don't know. Everything that I do, I'll watch other people and how they move. Okay, I think I'm supposed to do this. And a lot of it is trial and error. All right. And the facility definitely helps me from an entrepreneur standpoint on the reality of things and how things really are, and how he, like, the real though, not this fake stuff, the fake motivational stuff. He probably comes off as a motivational speaker, but I don't even think he's really trying to be motivational like that. I think he's just trying to tell you the real, and whatever you're gonna take out of that. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you take out of it. But that's what Andy Frisella is doing. So I listen to him because he for sure he gonna tell you the real. But yeah, got the hats, man. Got the beanies. You know what I'm saying? Got the different colors. Definitely $1 billion hustle. That stuff is coming out soon. You know, y'all keep it locked. But if y'all do want any gear, y'all want a hat, y'all want beanies, whatever it is, DM me on Twitter. You have to DM me. Yeah, DM me on Twitter. You know, send me your address, your all that type of stuff. We'll get it squared away. What hat you want, what beanie you want, whatever it is, and we'll shoot it. I'll shoot it out to you guys on Friday. But anyways, San Francisco 49ers against the Seahawks this week. It's Seahawk week. It's rivalry week. And I don't care what anybody says, man. Like this game, I don't care how bad the Seahawks are. As long as they got that little leprechaun running around, I'm talking about Russell Wilson. As long as they got Russell Wilson, I am not comfortable. I am not comfortable. I'm not comfortable with this game. I'm not going into this looking like, I'm not going into this game looking like, 49ers should have this in the bag. I see that one guy. He's like some Seahawk dude, man. What's his name? Someone on the phone. The dude, Sean Mills. I can't tell you his name right now, but you got the Seahawk guy, and he's like, 49ers are going to kick their butt. First of all, he's been talking real bad about the 49ers, real dirty about the 49ers. I saw his and this is like, I don't know if he's trolling. Let me bring up the tweet. I'm going to share it with y'all. I don't think he's like Evan Hill. That's his name. That's this guy's name. All right. But check this out, y'all. Check this out. This was what he predicted before the season. And I can't believe it. Evan Hill. That's his name. All right. Because I don't even know how you get to this. How do you get to this? All right. So pulling up his tweet right now. This is from before the season. All right, this is from before the season. We got the date right here, September 7th. So shortly before, this must have been heading into week 1. And these are his rankings. And I don't care whatever. There is no way in hell you got the 49ers, the 14th best team in the NFC. I mean, that's bottom 3. You like, if you get surprised by it, which we did get surprised by it early on, like, okay. But there is no way. The Giants, the Lions, the Eagles over the 49ers, like, that was crazy. So clearly this guy likes trolling. And if he's not trolling, then he's stupid. All right. But I'm going to go with the fact. I'm not going to insult him and say he's stupid. I'm going to say, you know what? I think he's just trolling. For some reason, before the season, with the 49ers having a loaded roster, 49ers favorite to win the NFC West, the 49ers Super Bowl odds hella high, but he's like, nah, they're a bottom 3 team in the NFC. Come on, man. That's a little ridiculous, right? But don't worry. I got this tweet, I got that tweet bookmarked, ready to go. Trust me. 49ers better beat the Seahawks ass so I can send that out there. I got the tweets coming, and y'all know I got my people in trouble, you feel me? So I got that video locked and loaded for him, tagging him. Can't wait. Right. I mean, the Lions, we knew the Lions were one of the worst teams in the NFL. And you got the 49. I mean, what are we doing? Like, that's what I mean. The 49ers had a good team coming back. That's why it was so weird to me when the 49ers were losing early on. It's like, man, how the 49ers losing right now? This makes no sense. But anyways, back to the Seattle Seahawks. They lost last night to the Washington football team. Washington is, it's kind of whatever. But the Seahawks, they made it to the game. They made it a late run. And the reason why they're able to do that is because they have Russell Wilson. So when you look at the 49ers game, so at the end of the day, 49ers need to be on their job. They need to be on their game to really pull out a W here. And it's not helping that the 49ers are missing some of their big guns. When I say some of the big guns, I'm talking about Fred Warner on one side of the ball, who's the defensive leader. He's the team captain. And Deebo Samuel on the other side of the ball, who's your best football player. And he's been your most productive and most consistent player on the field. And everything has gone through Deebo Samuel. I think those are big deals. Now, with Fred Warner, that's one thing, right? It's not just Fred Warner. It's Fred Warner. It's Dre Greenlaw. I think he tweaked something. You got Marcel Harris. He's in concussion protocol. So it's like, okay, we got Aziz Al-Shaair and who else? Flanagan fouls, I believe. So a little short-handed, but linebacker, that's kind of a position you can hide that a little bit. You can hide the linebacker position a little bit. What you can't hide, and what's really difficult, is not having Deebo Samuel, who your entire offense has gone through. So what do you do now? Do you just say, you know what, we're going to shift it, and now we're just going to throw the kitchen sink at George Kittle, and George Kittle is going to really, do everything that we need. I mean, George Kittle has kind of, I don't want to say he's been an afterthought. He had a good game a couple weeks ago. Back-to-back games that were a little underwhelming. Last game he had one reception. Shocking. You know what I'm saying? But guys are really gonna have to step up. And you don't just lose Deebo for one game, you lose him for two. I don't care what anybody says. I am always uncomfortable not having Deebo Samuel out there. And I'm always uncomfortable not when you travel to Seattle and you have to play them there. Because they're gonna get up for that. So everything that we know about the Seahawks up until this time right now, throw it out the window. Throw it out the window. They were sorry when 49 played them week one. Now, obviously, it was 7-7 going into halftime, and, you had the young kid come in, and he wasn't prepared to play or whatever. But they were sorry then, and they won at Levi's Stadium, So I'm never comfortable when it comes to the 49ers playing against the Seattle Seahawks. It just seems like it's always trouble. Always trouble. Russell Wilson, as long as he's playing. Now, if there was no Russell Wilson, if it was Geno Smith, which I saw that guy, Evan Hill, the Seahawks guy, I saw him tweet out, Geno Smith is better than both quarterbacks that the 49ers have. That was it's kind of ridiculous. But that's what I'm saying. He'd be trolling. But I'm telling you this. 49ers beat them. I ain't trolling. I'm coming at them. You feel me? I'm coming at them. Appreciate everybody that's in here right now. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. I'm going to bring some people on. I want to bring on a guest. Let me see if my guy is ready. 1 second here. I hope everybody's good this morning. Everybody's having a good one. I am excited about where the 49ers are, kind of where they're headed right now. Let's see. Here we go. Jeff Wilson has to step his game up. Jeff Wilson, I think, he kind of is what he is. Jeff Wilson is what he is. He is a guy that, this is my thing. All right, I'm going to get to it. And I went on kind of a rant talking about Josh Norman yesterday, right? And it's so crazy that because any little thing that Josh Norman does, it confirms how people feel about him. So when they look at Josh Norman, and if he gets a pass interference call against him, or he gets beat for a catch, which I think he only gave up 2 catches in the game, he's the worst. He's the worst, right? This is how confirmation biasness works, all right? So you have Josh Norman. Anything that happens negatively to him in the game, he is the worst. He should not be playing. But look at somebody like Jeff Wilson. Everybody is so excited to get Jeff Wilson back. But let's talk about Jeff Wilson real quick. It's like, oh yeah, Jeff Wilson, he's this and he's that, right? Let's pull something up with Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson this year is averaging 2.7 yards per carry. 2.7 yards per carry. Let's look at what he is for his career. All right. For his career, 4.0, 3.9, 4.8, which is good, which was last year. That was his best year. And then 2.7. Like, for his career, he's a 4.2 yard per carry guy. Like, he's fairly pedestrian. But everybody talks about Jeff Wilson as if he's just like, oh my goodness, Jeff Wilson. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, can't wait to get him back. Oh, it's like, he's very average. And the only thing that saved him last year with a lot that he did was he had a big game. I need to maybe go to like his game log or something. Jeff Wilson had a couple big games in 2020 that made a difference. So let's look at it right here. So here we go. This is what people are seeing with Jeff Wilson. He had a big game against New England where he had 17 carries for 122 yards. He averaged 6.5 yards per carry. He had a big game towards the end of the season against Arizona, 22 carries for 183 yards, over 8 yards per carry. And those were carrying his per carry average because, I mean, here's in the game, 2 carries for 3 yards, 3 carries for 6 yards, 12 carries for 40 yards. That's 3.3 yards per carry. Against Washington, 11 for 31, 2.8 yards per carry. Against Dallas, 16 carries for 60 yards at 3.7 yards per carry. Last game of the season against Seattle, 3.8 yards a carry. I mean, but nobody looks at like that with Jeff Wilson, right? He's so good, like, oh, Jeff Wilson, like, but the moment somebody like Norman does something that confirms how you feel about him, he's the worst, shouldn't be on the team, worst cornerback in the league. Nobody ever talks about the good, whether it's his 7 forced fumbles, whether it's his interception that he has this year, picked off a pass against Chicago. Like, at the end of the game, they threw at him, they targeted him, the ball was incomplete. It's like, no, we're not going to give Norman no love. But Jeff Wilson, you know what I'm saying, who for the most part of his time as a 49er has been fairly pedestrian, but he runs hard. So Jeff Wilson doesn't move the needle for me. He doesn't move the needle for me. Yes, he has to step his game up, but he's not the starter. He ain't the starter. So I don't look at it too much in the sense of Jeff Wilson has to go above and beyond to do these special things in the game. Not really focused on him, but it's just funny. It's just funny how just narratives, you know what I'm saying? Just how narratives work. The narrative on Josh Norman is worst cornerback, 49 secondary. I mean, he is what he is. Somebody had tweeted me yesterday about Josh Norman and was like, man, what did they say? They compared him to the top 25 guys. It's like, why are you viewing Josh Norman in the eyes that he should be a top 25 corner in the league? That's not what Josh Norman is. He wasn't brought in. Josh Norman wasn't on the roster week 1. Right? All through preseason, training camp, all that, Josh Norman was not on a roster. So why are we viewing him in the light of someone that should be a top 25 corner on a team? That person is not out there right now. Not out here. Let me see. Where's it at? I see it right. Where's it? Right here. All the CBs in play under these expectations. So how does Norman compare to the top 25 cornerbacks in the NFL? Would you start him next year? And I told him, your first mistake is comparing him to top 25 corners. Norman wasn't on the roster week 1. Like, what kind of lofty expectations do you have for him? Just wild. I wanted to bring a guest on. He doesn't even know what we're talking about, but we're going to get into this. Let me make sure that my audio is right. All right, I should be good. Here we go. So I'm bringing my guy on. I know somebody said that's a terrible comparison. You're right, man. You're right. Here we go. Coming on right now. And again, I want to thank everybody that's in here. Got 118 of you guys in here. Make sure if you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. All right. I got my guy Jason Aponte coming on. You got the Niner gear. Look, you got the Niner stuff, but you don't got this. You don't got this Frontline Sports. You feel me?
I was gonna ask what happened, man. When can I get the package delivered? How do I get to it, man? That was gonna be the first question I asked.
I'll ship you something.
All right.
Something. All right. Yes, sir. But so I came on here, I started talking about injuries, and then I kind of got into narratives and confirmation biasness that a lot of people use to work in their favor when it comes to a guy that they like or a guy that they don't like. But first, let's talk about some of these injuries. Are they concerning to you? You have the 49ers, and they're going to be without Fred Warner and Deebo Samuel, who really kind of their best 2 players on each side of the ball. Well, Warner's not the best player on that side of the ball, but that's all pro Fred. He's the leader of the defense. He's the he's the quarterback of the defense. You're not going to be having him in this game. How do you think losing those 2 guys will impact the 49ers?
Well, clearly what Deebo brings is stability, and he's the guy that whenever they need a big play, he is the rock, right? But I want to make sure I phrase this in a way that doesn't come off dismissive of him, because he is exactly why the 49ers are in the position that they're in right now, because every time they need a big play, it's him. But I'm more worried about the Fred Warner thing. And what I mean by that is, in that place, I don't care what the Seattle Seahawks record is. I don't care how they're playing. That game is going to be close. That game is going to be live. That stadium is going to be alive. To have Fred Warner there and be that stable force to calm things down in that huddle, that's the portion that scares me the most. To be able to get guys calm, get them focused on their job, because that place is going to be loud and rocking. I think that, I guess the best way to phrase it is Fred's calmness, what he brings to that defense, because they're going to need it. I don't care how this team has been playing the Seattle Seahawks. They are going to find a way to be competitive in this game, unless they completely just throw up a dud. And I hope I'm wrong, and I hope that's the case. But I think they're going to miss that veteran, like, calm down, stay focused, don't let the block out all the noise type thing. You need that in that huddle in an environment like that. So that's what I'm more afraid of in terms of who would be the bigger loss. But both of them are invaluable to lose.
So our guy Niner Dodgers here says, oh wait, that's not where I was going. Right here. There's a storm coming to Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
If
Well,
that's the
I hope
case,
so.
man, how does that impact the game? You hope so? So you would rather it be like bad
Rainy?
I just think weird things can happen in the rain, like
Right.
and that work for you or against you.
Well, I mean, in the case of Russell Wilson, what we saw yesterday was he was inaccurate, and that was during no rain, anything like that. Like, he had guys wide open that he was just missing. I don't know if that finger is fully healed. He's still doing a lot of the things that he had problems with at the end of last season in terms of not seeing the underneath throw or the wide open throw. Like, there's a guy streaking across the middle of the field for a 20-yard throw, but he wants to throw the moon ball. And I don't know why that continues. I don't know what the progressions are, and I don't want to keep talking like I know like what he should be looking at, right? But there's too many examples of him having throws in front of him that he's not taking. So if it's raining and he's inaccurate and he's not throwing the ball, and I don't know if you guys noticed, DK Metcalf was yelling for Geno Smith, man, and that is a wild thought. That is a wild thought. Geno Smith was.
Did they say that?
Yeah, DK was pointing at Geno like, get this guy in the game, man, because like he's not getting the ball. Like, I don't know if you got a chance to see, like, he walked off the sideline. And this is wild times in Seattle, like, to think that DK Metcalf is asking for Geno Smith, man. And it was a time where Russ is warming up and Geno's walking over to him like he's the veteran, like he's the guy who's been in turn to like, yo, calm down. This is what, like, it's wild. I don't know what's going on. At the same time, I do not expect Seattle to throw up a dud. But if it is raining and they're not throwing the ball well already in good weather, I mean, that'll be fine with me, because the 49ers can then do more of what they want to do. That's just going to implore Kyle Shanahan to not throw the ball more. And if they're able to run, that's fine. The only thing that scares me now is who's going to be that backup behind Elijah Mitchell, because Deebo Samuel was alleviating a lot of that. Jeff Wilson just hasn't been playing as well as we all hoped and thought he would. Maybe it's the injury. Maybe it's just, it is other things. But yeah, I mean, a storm would actually be in the 49ers' favor, in my opinion, because then Kyle Shanahan would say, all right, Jimmy Garoppolo, we're not going to be throwing the ball a ton. And Elijah Mitchell, who has been shown that he's more than capable to handle 30-plus touches.
So our guy Gallup says he does not believe that story for 1 second.
You don't got to believe it. It was on TV. It was on TV. The man, I'm not making it up. It was during the game. He ran over and he's like pointing, like, put this man in the game. Like, why would he be pointing at Geno Smith when he wasn't in the game at all? Like, DK Metcalf was throwing fits yesterday. Like, that's not me making something up. It was on TV.
So when you look at this game, and I might not have you on for the rest of the week, so I want to make sure I kind of get all this out right now. What's going to be the recipe for success for the 49ers, right? If the 49ers, if I told you right now, 49ers won this game, could you give me a score prediction on why you think they won?
Man, score prediction is hard right now, Croc. I'm going back and forth so hard because I don't care what Seattle's done leading up to this game. They could have lost 10 in a row. If Russell Wilson's the quarterback, I'm afraid, right? Like, and I think that if you watched the timeline yesterday, right, when Russell got the ball back with 2 minutes left, everybody was like, oh, come on, man. And he was horrible in that game. Like, he was terrible. And everybody was like, oh, come on, man. Sure enough, what happened? He was right there with a chance to do it again. So, like, I'm never going to discount this team, right? And to give a score prediction, I don't know. I just know that this game is going to be close, man, somehow. Somehow this team is going to get up for this game. Something about this game feels like the end of an era for them, right? Like they're pretty far out of the playoffs right now. They don't have a first-round pick. All of their picks are going to be going to the Jets. But if they lose this game, season over. And the era is probably over at this point. Pete's going to have to go. They're going to have to figure out what they want to do at Russ. Things are going to change. So I expect them to come out and play well and keep this game close. But the 49ers should just stick to the script at this point. And it should be more strict at this point because Deebo's not there to alleviate that with those handoffs, with those tunnel screens, anything that you want to do to get him the ball at this point. Control time of possession. Keep Russell Wilson on the sideline, on the side of the field. And make sure that Elijah Mitchell continues to get those tough yards. It's just, I get afraid that all of a sudden we're going to see Seattle be Seattle, right? Like, I can't just discount them at all. Like, I don't care what they've been doing. No matter when they play the 49ers, they always get up for that game. And it wouldn't shock me that this is the week all of a sudden Seattle's offense starts to hum a little bit better. I have a tough time predicting the score. I can't do it right now, Croc. I'm sorry. I know that's not the answer you wanted, but I can't right now.
Yeah. So when you look at this Seattle team, that is kind of, the train is falling off the tracks right now. If there's a positive with this team, what do you think that would be?
Actually, their defense. I mean, their defense is actually not as bad as it's been. And I think that that's the stuff that gets overlooked. Like, their defense isn't like over the top great or anything like that. It's very solid. And they played pretty well yesterday. I mean, they only gave up 15 points, something like that, 17 points. So that's something that you take every single week. So their defense isn't exactly horrible, right? Like, it's not horrible. So that kind of keeps them in games. And I think that's where the frustration comes for a lot of Seahawks fans is if this offense was somewhere near competent, they would win way more games because the defense keeps them in games. So, I mean, the 49ers have the recipe on how to whittle it down and wear down the defense. You obviously can't have penalties. You have to keep the time of possession on your side. And the aspect that I really look at when you're talking about time of possession is less about physical wear and tear on a defense and more mental, right? Like, think about on third down. You play defense on third down, knowing that you can't get stops. They continue to do things that the ball's going to be run and you can't stop them. That mental aspect, it wears on the defense. Like, you're getting beat every single time. And that's the portion that the 49ers have been doing so well. They've been taking teams out of it because it's like, you're running the ball. It's like when you're playing Madden against your little brother. I'm running to the right. Come stop me. And they can't. And then your little brother chucks the controller and he goes and he runs off. Like, that's what the 49ers have been doing. They got to stick to that right now at this point. So, but I think that Seattle's defense is actually a little bit better than people think it is. It's not exactly world beating, but that's the portion that keeps them in games. Like, they were in that game, and I know it's Washington or whatever, but they were in that game and that defense played pretty well.
I think he hasn't been playing that bad. I want to ask you a question because I saw a lot of people early in the Minnesota Vikings game, and we're going to do a little recap on that. All right, early in the Minnesota Vikings game, a lot of people were really starting to kind of get a little antsy when it came to Jimmy Garoppolo. And you had some people that were like, Trey Lance, right? When you were watching Jimmy go through that, right? And then obviously kind of crawl his way out of it and finish the first half strong. What was kind of your mindset during that time when you were watching what was going on with whether it was the high passes or certain misses or getting chewed out because of an interception? What was your thought process throughout that time?
I mean, I think the anxiety level gets raised up a little bit just because of the game and the importance, right? So the high throws, they start to bother you. And then the underneath linebacker throw, you're like, oh my God, not this, right? Like, not this right now. And I think that in a way, and I want to make sure I phrase this right without it coming out, wrong, either way, it probably will. I think that really helped Kyle Shanahan. Because he goes to the sideline, he yells at Jimmy Garoppolo, and then I think in his mind he's like, "All right, that's it. We're gonna pull this in, and we're just gonna start running the ball again." And they got him back to basics. They weren't so far down in that game where you couldn't go back to the run. And I think that it got Kyle right back to that space that he was in, where he's like, "Okay, we're not gonna put too much on this guy's plate. We're gonna get back to running the ball." And when they started to do that, they started to control the clock again. They started to move the ball again, and it got them right back into that spot. So I didn't overly panic. But I did. My heart rate started rising right there. Like, I was just like, "Oh, come on, man! Like, not this, not in this game, right? Like, don't let this rear its ugly head right now." But hey, in a way, it was probably the best thing that probably could have happened for the both of them. Jimmy usually in 2019, when he threw a pick, was much better on the next drive, right? Like, you get the throw out of the way and you just keep going, right? Like, it never really snowballed. In 2020, it wasn't the same thing. But in 2019, that's how he was. And then I think that it really helped Kyle Shanahan refocus, get back to basics and say, man, we are going to take this game out of his man's hands and we're going to get back to running this ball and give him some easier throws. And it worked, obviously.
All right, here we go. Our guy, Brad Brown, right now, he says, White 9 against Seattle has me nervous. What are your thoughts on that? The White 9, we know Seattle, they want to run the rock. I mean, they got, who is it, Kelly? Who's running the ball for
Collins,
Seahawks.
DJ
Collins,
Dallas, and DJ
DJ Dallas.
Dallas.
They don't scare me. DJ Dallas
Nah,
as a pass catcher,
pass
he's
catcher.
solid. I watched him a lot while he was at Miami, but it's not a backfield that really scares me. And I think that's what's scariest part about a game against Seattle. You look at them, if you took off the name Seattle Seahawks and you just said it's, I don't know, Detroit Lions or someone, or anyone else, but like was playing the exact same with those exact same players, but you said it was a different team, I don't think anybody would be worried about this game. But I
Yeah.
think because it's them, there's just stigma that comes with this of them kind of being the boogeyman of the 49ers. And obviously, last year we were able to get them, but or no, was it last year or the year before?
2019. I think
Yeah, see, I mean,
yeah.
they just have kind
2020
of kicked
erased
the
it. It
49ers.
didn't happen. 2020 it didn't happen. Don't worry about that. It didn't happen. It was a lost year.
But
Yeah.
I think we're more nervous about something like this, right? About the white nine against Seattle makes me nervous because it's Seattle, but not because we just think that they are a good running team, a team that runs the football well, right?
Right. And if I could assume something real quick, and Brad, you can correct me. I think that what you could be more nervous about is Russell getting gaps to run through, right? And if he starts to use his legs to pick up those back-breaking third downs and get that first down, that's the stuff that he hasn't been doing a lot. And he tried to do it yesterday. And again, I know that he hurt his finger, but usually Russ gets away from these defenders, and he's been getting caught from behind a little bit more from what I've been noticing. So again, could be completely wrong, but Brad, I think you're probably more worried about when he drops back, if there's a gap for him to run through, and if he starts to pick up those yards with his legs and sustain drives, that's the start. That's the stuff where you'll be like, oh my God, they're starting to get back to the things that the 49ers would fear. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, that's what I think he means.
All right. I want to kind of get back a little bit to the game against the Vikings, right? And what were your thoughts just really on the defense and how they performed? Because I thought, like, at certain moments when they needed it, I think the worst part, nobody's talking about this. The worst unit in that game for the 49ers was special teams. I mean, they gave up these like gaping kickoff returns that were gashing, that punted the ball through the end zone, didn't pin the Vikings back deep. It felt like maybe once they cut the ball around the 10 or whatnot. But the defense, I feel like the 49ers defense, and I'm always defending the secondary, I just don't think it gets enough love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that all things considered, right? Justin Jefferson had a bunch of 100-yard games this season. He had some plays in this game, but he wasn't bad. The Thielen touchdown, the first one, the Jimmy Ward just had just a little bit out of position. That's it. You got to credit him and that chemistry that he has with Thielen. That second one, Hufanga was just out of place, right? He kind of just looked a little bit lost. And that's, again, Thielen and Cousins knowing what to do. They had that rapport, and that's it. But other than that, I know everybody's going to harp on, everybody's going to harp on, Josh Norman, the holds, all that stuff, right? That's fine. He punched the ball out, which I know you've been talking about. And it's a big point of emphasis, right? And everything as well. But I think the secondary did fine. I think that the thing that nobody is talking about this offseason, not this offseason, this week, Emmanuel Moseley's been great this season. Great. Absolutely great. And I think that nobody's really been saying anything because you haven't really been seeing him be tested, and then nobody's really talking about him on the other side. Like, he hasn't really been burnt, anything like that. I think Emmanuel Moseley has stepped up this year, especially considering losing Jason Verrett. I think Moseley has been great, and then nobody's really been talking about it. The emphasis has been on, well, where's Hufanga playing? Let's get more with Hufanga because he has those, nice tackles that everybody wants to see. But Emmanuel Moseley's been great, man, on the other side. It didn't seem like he's getting tested too much. I think he's been having a great year.
Right. And me as a cornerback, I see it, but I think because nobody talks about it, I think it's not something for me to react to. But yeah, Emmanuel Moseley, he is playing very well. And I talked about it the other day. There's 64 starting corners in the NFL. Out of those 64 starting NFL corners on the outside, that's not including nickels. Out of those 64 starting corners, I mean, half of them you probably would look to replace. Or I don't want to say you look to replace. Half of them you'd say, I would upgrade from there from
the
that
replacement
guy
level.
if I could.
The replacement level.
And then you have another, like, I'd say between the top 32 corners in NFL, there's good ones, right? And I think Norman falls in between that. Like Norman, I mean not Norman, excuse me, Moseley. Moseley is a starting level corner on any team. On any team, there might be a couple teams that wouldn't need Moseley because maybe they just have two good corners. But for the most part, and I don't know, would you agree that Moseley would start on most NFL teams?
Right.
I'd say
And
on
just
out of 32 NFL teams, Moseley would start on, and be their maybe some of their best corners on about 15 teams.
I was gonna say about 16. I would say at least half of them, right? And then especially considering the draft capital, which is right, it was nothing for Moseley. Like that, I think that's really lost on people too. Is that you a lot of people invest in draft and on corners, and sometimes those guys don't pan out. But then you find a guy like Moseley who's he's playing very well. And a lot of the talk in the offseason was, well, the pass rusher will cover all that up. Pass rush aside from Nick Bosa has been fine. Nick Bosa has been incredible, but he's had to cover, and he's been covering very well.
Yeah. But all right, Jason, man, I wanted to come get you on for a little bit this morning. I'm gonna get to all the callers. Matter of fact, you know what? Hang tight. I'm gonna get the callers in here now, okay. And then if you guys have anything that y'all want to say to my guy Jason and ask him any questions, whether it's 49ers related or fantasy football, because he is
go get Alexander
fantasy-
Madison today. Alexander Madison, everyone, blow your fab budget. He's going to be the person that's going to put you in the playoffs with Dalvin Cook out for these next 2 weeks. Please, I implore everyone.
I actually have him on one of my fantasy teams.
I actually have him in our league as well, too, and I'm getting ready to roll him out there with Austin Eckler for my playoff run.
Here we go. We got Jason. That hat is fire. So
appreciate that, man. Appreciate that.
Forget his hat. You got to come and get these Frontline Sports hats. Feel me?
This way.
Got the
this way.
Yeah,
the dad hat. The dad has the dad has the joint.
Yeah, right there. You know what I'm saying? Got the cool blue and the dad hat and the red. You know what I'm saying? You guys got to find me on Instagram or Twitter. Just type in my name, Eric Crocker. I'll pop up. You got to DM me.
Real quick, I just want to put this out there because it just came out. Robert Griffin III will release a book called Surviving Washington, and he'll detail what happened in the 2012 playoff game versus Seattle, the medical mismanagement he received, the sexual harassment in the building, and a deep dive into the Dan Snyder, Mike Shanahan power struggle.
I'm gonna be tuning in. I might get that. Because everybody thinks that things are like a certain way and things are just so black and white with football. And it's like, man, it's not, man. There's a lot of politics that go into sports. I talked about even my time with the New York Jets. And I remember all through training camp, let's go back further. Rookie mini camp, OTAs, vet mini camp, training camp, all that. We had D. Milliner. D. Milliner was drafted. He was a 9th overall pick. We had D. Milliner and Sheldon Richardson. But D. Milliner, he was not a part of anything. He had a shoulder injury that he was recovering from. And then once he got medically cleared, he held out to get his fully guaranteed contract. So everybody thinks that Kirk Cousins is the first person with a fully guaranteed contract. I think Kirk Cousins was the first person with a fully guaranteed contract that's that big, right? It was like $90 million. But D. Milliner in 2013, he had almost $13 million contract that was fully guaranteed. He was getting all $13 million of his contract. All right. But anyways, the way that roster politics works is with some of these things. If a coach wants you in there or an owner wants you in there, like you're in there. Like you're getting in there, regardless of what the coach wants or whatever. D. Milliner, from the moment, and I'm not saying that the coaches didn't want him in there or whatever, but this is just how it works. It didn't matter how Eric Crocker was doing. It didn't matter how Darren Walls was doing. It didn't matter how Ellis Langster, how Trufant was doing. All that mattered was D. Milliner is the 9th overall pick. He started. So from day one, remember, didn't participate in anything throughout the offseason, wasn't healthy, held out, all that. But the first day he signed his contract, starter. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at RG3 and how that whole thing works, and there's some other guys too, we can kind of talk about how the roster politics, but RG3, the Shanahans did not want him. And the owner, and this is widely known, the owner, Dan Snyder, wanted RG3. Matter of fact, Mike Shanahan would have drafted Russell Wilson in the second round, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then Kyle always liked Kirk Cousins, and Kirk Cousins was there around the 4th, and they're like, all right, we're going to take your guy. All right, so, but RG3, I could only imagine how it feels to be in an organization that are like, I don't. We don't. The coaches don't want you, but we have to play you, so we have to make this work. Like, how does that feel for the player? You know what I'm saying? It's probably like being like a stepson, and it's like, damn, it's like your stepdad's like, I don't want this little dude, but it's like you gotta work with him. You gotta do things with him.
You got to
And
work with
I
him because
bet
you want
that.
to make it work with the mom.
So I'm excited to actually. I don't know. Are you gonna read this book?
Hell yeah. I mean, I have to figure out what happens because there's so much about like, well, Mike broke right Robert Griffin. I want to hear what he has to say. Obviously, there's three sides to the story. There's Rob's side, there's Mike Shanahan's side, and there's the truth. But there's truth somewhere in the middle there. But I'm definitely gonna check it out.
All right. Here we go. We got our guy, first caller coming on. Our guy Darius. Darius, what's good, man?
What's going on? Top of the
Darius, you
morning,
there?
Croc. What's going on, Jason DePonte? I
Oh,
see you, baby.
What's up, Darius? What's going on,
Yeah, can
baby?
you hear me?
Yes, sir.
yep.
I see y'all, man. I want to talk about this game, but real quick, since we was on Norman, you know, that's my guy. I gotta get on here and talk about him every time. So I compared him to Xavier Howard, right? Xavier came into the season ranked the fourth best corner. All the Niner fans were big on him. Everybody wanted him. Yada yada yada. So he started 11 games. Norman has started 9. He has 3 picks. Norman has 1. He has 72 targets. Norman has 32. Completions, he allowed 41. Norman allowed 21. 56.9% completion rate for Howard. 65.6% for Norman. He's allowed 493 yards. Norman has allowed 257. Solo tackles, 28 to 26. Tackles for losses, Howard has none. The boy Norman has 3. So I'm just based off these numbers, man. It's like the dude is good for a 34-year-old that was on the couch week 1.
Right.
I'm tired of all the negative. You know, I'm just over it because it's like if you can accept Jimmy Garoppolo as your quarterback, you can accept Josh Norman as your corner because we have nothing else. If we did, they would be playing. That's common sense. Like Kyle is not a dumbass. He knows what's going on. Like, he sees it, but that's all we got. And the man's 34 years old. I'm 35. I can't guard nobody in high school right now. And he's out there with them grown men. So that's that on that. As far as the game goes, man, as far as the game goes, I feel like last night Washington kind of showed us what we need to be doing. And we already been doing that as far as run, you know, get the dink passes, maybe a bomb here and there. But I understand what the guy was talking about when he said Jeff Wilson needs to step his game up because Mitchell should not be running the ball 30 times, bro. That's a lot of hits on a young stud like that. And I feel the same. I feel like Jeff Wilson, we need you when you get in there. You need to be like Pollard. You need to be the Pollard on our team. You know what I'm saying? When Mitchell comes out, we still need that boom, 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 get them yards because Trey Sermon's out now, that's just ridiculous. We're a run first team, and you got this man out here making tackles on special team. But yeah, if
That's
we can
because
really get this run
don't
game
plan on
going,
using them.
I feel like their
They
secondary.
don't plan on using Trey Sermon at all. Like, they don't plan on running them. So it's like if you're gonna be active, you gotta play special
do
teams.
something. Right. One more thing I want to say
But
too
listen.
is, you know, this is the first time that Kyle Shanahan has used a bell cow. And I think it's more out of necessity than it is just, oh man,
Right.
I just want to get this boy to rock, right? Like it's that's the thing, right? Like I know we love what Mitchell's doing, but this is the first time that Kyle has to do it out of necessity because of the injuries. And I think it's less about, oh man, Elijah Mitchell's just cooking. I got to keep getting him the ball. More like I don't really trust anybody else, and nobody else is really effective. I mean, that's why Deebo was running it so much.
Exactly. And that's the thing. You see what I'm saying? Like, see, Kyle, he gets in his own way because as long as the system is working, he doesn't really look at, you know, the stress level that might be given to the player. It's just like, okay, get in there, execute. Get in there, execute. Like they're robots. And I don't know, it's gonna be interesting, man. Jimmy's gonna have to earn his money this week. Ain't gonna be no yaks and all this. Give it to Deebo and let him do his magic. You're gonna have to be a real quarterback because you got real receivers. Don't get me. I love Brandon Ayuk. I love Sherfield. I love Jennings. And these guys are receivers. They run their routes well, got good hands. So I just hope that Jimmy can connect with these dudes and man, it's gonna be interesting, man, because like y'all said, I mean, they do kind of got our number, but it's a different year this year. I just feel like Seattle is just depleted, man. Like they don't even like themselves, like they don't like each other. Cause I seen that, Jason. I thought I was tripping when I seen them point to the sideline. I'm like, man, what the hell? Cause I'm watching on my
Pointing at
phone, so
Geno
I'm like,
Smith.
what? And the announcer
You
didn't say
pointing at
nothing
Geno
about it.
Smith.
Right.
Nope. I watched it happen
I'm
too.
thinking
I'm
he
like,
was
why you
talking
pointing
shit
at
to
Geno Smith?
somebody.
No, I'm like,
Oh
why are you
my
pointing at Geno
God.
Smith? Geno Smith has nothing to do with this game, man. And he don't have nothing to do with this game.
Hey, hopefully we can get a good sack on Russell and his finger messes up on him again, and maybe they get him out. I don't know. We're gonna need a little bit of help though.
Hey!
We're
I
gonna need
don't
a
know
little
if
bit
we
of
want
help,
Geno
man.
Smith in there. I don't know if we want Geno Smith in there, man. He was slinging that thing in that first game against the Rams, and he actually played pretty good against Jacksonville. We might want to leave him in there.
That's a fact. That's a fact. But I mean, damn, man, like we got to get this W. And I like the way the team's been playing, bro. Like they've been playing with so much heart. They've been out there with so much energy and golly, man. Like if we can get this win, bro, I feel like that'll help them out. That'll help their spirits out because they know what this means. You know what I'm saying? Like I can only imagine when you get on that field. I remember, like for example, like when we used to play Lincoln in high school, like you knew you had an L coming. And so to get a W over that bully, you know what I'm saying? To get that W over them, it feels good. It feels like the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But that's my take on it, man. Y'all have a good day, man.
You too, bro.
Hey,
All right,
Jason,
Darius,
I love your
appreciate you
stuff
coming
too,
on.
bro. You the truth. You,
Yeah.
my guy right here, Croc, for sure, man.
Appreciate you, Darius.
All right, here we go. About to get my guy Bradley on real quick. My guy Sean says, facts, E-Man is top 20. That's right. I think Emmanuel Moseley is playing like a top 20 corner. And he's not really getting that notoriety because sometimes people just focus so much on, like the negative or a guy that they don't like, that they don't. And what Emmanuel Moseley is doing is not like splashy, but he's playing good football at the cornerback position. I'm telling you, like, there's not a lot of dudes playing good football at the cornerback position. And I saw one person say Moseley had a bad game against the Colts. I think the worst thing was he had a pass interference in the end zone, which, I mean, the pass interferences have gotten everybody. Like, that's not something that I equate to bad play. But here we go. Got my guy Bradley coming on. Bradley, what's good with you, man?
Hey, good morning, sir. And you too, Jason. Hi.
What's up, Bradley?
I wanted to talk about Elijah Mitchell. I mean, this dude has just been playing phenomenal, and the way that he squirts through the holes and is always getting extra yardage, he just reminds me of Frank Gore. And with that being said, I mean, we should get Frank Gore on our health and conditioning staff. That dude was never injured. He was so healthy for such a long time. So if we can keep Elijah healthy like Gore for a long time, I mean, the sky's the limit for this kid. I think he could have 2,000 yards rushing in one season if he stayed healthy, and our offensive line did. I mean, I think Elijah Mitchell is just amazing. I think going forwards for our team, he's going to really help us in the play action and everything moving forward. So I'm really excited about him. I thought he did fantastic this last game. What do you guys think about Mitchell?
I think he runs good. I think he runs well, and he's seeing the holes well. I think obviously Kyle Shanahan's scheme is set up for a specific type of running back. And if you can just start to do some of the things that he likes doing or what he sees in his backs and you have the same vision as him, then you'll have a great year. And, I see Aponte talk about it like, hey, everybody talks about how well Elijah Mitchell has ran the ball, but he hasn't been the best rookie running back. In Aponte's eyes, he thinks was it Michael Carter?
Nah, Javonte Williams.
Javonte Williams. I get those two mixed up all the time.
Because they both went to NC.
Yeah. But, just in the sense of how Elijah Mitchell runs in this offense, I think he'd do well. Remember, we saw Alfred Morris run for 1,600 yards for Washington. He wasn't the most dynamic guy, and he wasn't this big to play running back for anyone else. But he fit that scheme, he fit that system and how they wanted their backs to run. And he had a terrific year there, obviously, with RG3. I think Elijah Mitchell is having success. I don't want to say it's all because of Kyle Shanahan, but I do think that has a big part in it. What do you think? Aponte?
Yeah, one thing I got to say, man, Elijah Mitchell is impressing me because of the way that he's getting yards in different ways, right? Like everybody assumed that he was going to be just this outside zone guy who was going to be big, splashy runs. But then you look at the Rams game, he runs in between the tackles. He's getting tough yards, 21 for 97 and isn't exactly flashy, but it's what the team needs. And he just continues to improve. Who knew that when you gave rookies reps, they get better? Imagine that thought process. So, I mean, it's just, again, it's not taking anything away from Elijah Mitchell at all, right? But we have seen that this is the first time that Kyle Shanahan is using a bell cow, and it's out of necessity. It's because other guys are not performing, and Elijah Mitchell is, right? He doesn't want to run this way. And if you gave Javonte Williams a similar amount of snaps, I guarantee that you would see similar amount of numbers. The man's a dog. He leads the league in missed tackles created, and he has less touches than Elijah Mitchell. Elijah Mitchell's played in 2 less games and has 25 more touches. There's been games where Javonte Williams gets 4 and 5 touches a game. So that's why, hey, look, I could be completely wrong, but this idea that it's Mitchell hands down, sorry, Chris, it's not Mitchell hands down. It might be that he's better, but hands down, come on, man, you can't say that at all, man. We got to wait to figure that out. And when Javonte gets it next year, you're going to see. And look, one more thing. The Broncos foolishly paid a running back and paid him with a second contract. You got to play that man, Melvin Gordon. And on top of that, Melvin Gordon's playing very well. That's another thing you guys are forgetting. So it's not like, oh, well, he can't beat out Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon's playing well. Javonte Williams is a dog, man, and he has so many 10-yard runs. He has more 10-yard runs per carry than Elijah Mitchell does. And would you say that Shanahan's system is better than Pat Shurmur's? I would. Again, it's a good discussion. I don't want to get on that because people were killing me. I've never been getting more hate than I've ever got just for that one take. And I thought I was just trying to be level-headed, but it's fine. I understand. Elijah Mitchell's dog, and I agree.
You are the new Grant Cohn.
I am. Move over, Grant. Grant Aponte is in the building.
I don't know. Grant gets the most hate out of everyone for his brashness. So
well, that's what I was getting. I think that's in response to a tweet that I got yesterday because I gave an opinion that and everybody was like, oh well, look, Aponte is being a new Grant with a crazy take. It's not a crazy take. It's an opinion.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for letting me come on, guys. I'm real excited for this game, but I think we need to just get past this game because we got the Bengals next, and that's the game I'm worried about. You guys have a good rest of the day.
You can't just get past Seahawks though. You can't just be like, oh, you gotta be all focused in on it. Oh, well, not you. But the team. Yeah, fans, you can look past whatever, but in my eyes, like I'm not looking past the Seahawks as if that's just a W because they just have had their 49ers number for the last decade. All right, I appreciate you coming on, Brad.
You guys have a good rest of the day, sir.
Later, man.
All right. Here's something, and Aponte, I want to get your opinion on this. What do you think it is? Jimmy Garoppolo is 31-12 as a starter. Please stop saying he's trash, folks. Without Jimmy Garoppolo, Kyle's record is horrible. There's a few different things here, right? Kyle's record without Jimmy Garoppolo and Jimmy Garoppolo's record. So I'm going to give you the floor right now to really just give your opinion on those things. If I need to, then I'll follow up.
Right, but Jimmy Garoppolo is not trash. I don't understand where this came from. I don't know who's been saying that. I mean, at wanting to see Trey Lance and it doesn't mean that Jimmy Garoppolo is trash, right? Like the 49ers made this move largely because Jimmy Garoppolo couldn't be healthy. And when Kyle Shanahan tells you we can win more games with Jimmy Garoppolo, look what they're doing. That's 4 out of 5, 3 straight, and Jimmy Garoppolo's operating this offense. Look, you can disagree with the way that he handled this quarterback situation. I do, but I mean, I don't think that he's trash. Right now, he's a starter in this league, and that's very valuable. Trash quarterbacks, I mean, if you're talking about trash quarterbacks, you got to be talking about like backups or lower tier quarterbacks. And I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is that. He is efficient. Sure. The one thing I'll say is that it's inconsistent, the maddening, right? This is the Vikings game encapsulated Jimmy Garoppolo's experience wholly for me. High throws, underneath linebacker, interception, right in the first half. Second half, he made some throws, man, and he stayed in the pocket, took some hits, made some throws, almost threaded that ball to Juwan Jennings. He didn't get that other foot down. Jimmy can make throws. It's the problem. It's this. It's up, down, up, down. It's never across the board, and I think that's a lot of people's frustration. But inconsistent and trash, those are not the same thing at all. So Jimmy Garoppolo is not trash. And again, they made the move, and they tried to get all these other people because largely Jimmy Garoppolo hasn't been healthy. So, I mean, I hope I hit on all those points. I don't think that he's trash. I don't think that anybody should be saying he's trash. The team is winning games. You don't win games with trash quarterbacks.
Right, and I'll follow up by saying this, and I see one of my guys in the comments kind of touch on it real quick. I'm tired of people using the record to say Jimmy is good. They tried to do that with Tim Tebow. Also, look at the other quarterbacks Kyle has had: Hoyer, Bedford, Mullins. Of course, Kyle was losing with them, and I'd say I agree with that as it pertains to just the overall record. But yeah, I also agree with you, Aponte, that Jimmy Garoppolo, and I won't say he's trash. I'll just say you got to understand what he is and what he isn't. I think the frustrating thing with you, what you're seeing, or maybe even a guy like Kyle Shanahan, is that with him, the margin of error is slim for misses. So when things are there, it's like Jimmy, like you can't miss. Now, as far as the roller coaster goes, he can make throws as long as it's there. I think the issue is when it's not there, what happens? What does it look like? And that's when things start getting weird, as opposed to other guys that when it's not there, they can move around. They'll make a play on the move. They'll still figure out a way to have a positive play. Jimmy can't be that. So it's like when the play is there, Jimmy, you have to make that throw. You can't afford to miss passes. So I think that's the frustrating part. But obviously, as long as the 49ers defense has his back, when he does have those weird moments, it's going to keep them in games, and he's going to make enough throws that can result in wins, which we've seen for the better part of his career. But we got our guy Logan coming on now. Here we go. And oh, wrong. There we go. Logan, what's good, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How about you?
Oh, really good, really good, really good.
Hey, I just want to touch on this game coming up. What is it with, and Darius touched on this earlier, actually, what is it with the Seahawks and just having our number over the past decade? I never get so mad watching a football game like watching the Niners lose to them. Is it a Carroll thing or is it a Russ thing? And it's just like, you almost feel like it's hopeless going up into Seattle some years, And one of the best games I remember watching is when Nick Mullins beat him for the first time in 3 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, what's with us in Seattle? Like, we can never get over that hump, it seems like.
I think a lot of it you could really attest to Russell Wilson and some of the magic that he's made in those games. I think it really kind of falls on that. He's been someone that, again, for all the misses, and I just talked about it, right? With Jimmy Garoppolo, like when Jimmy Garoppolo is having those misses, it's hard for him to overcome that. You look at Russell Wilson, and for all the misses that he had in that game, the overthrows, the inaccuracy, the guys pointing to other guys and wanting Russell Wilson to get benched, still was able to lead them down the field on, with very little time left to potentially tie the game up. And that's what Russell Wilson has been against the 49ers, someone that no matter how much you think he's down, it's just he's never down and out. And I think he's been the biggest reason as to why the Seahawks have been as good against the 49ers as they have been over the last decade.
Right. I've never seen a quarterback play so poorly in an entire game, right? And I'm not talking about this past game, but I'm talking about other instances, right? Like that NFC Championship game against Green Bay. He had like 4 or 5 interceptions in that game, and somehow he finds a way to win the game. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. And somehow they always get lucky. They get a bounce to go their way. Sometimes it's unexplainable. And this is the portion of why this makes this such a big game for the 49ers. It always feels like the litmus test for how far the 49ers are going to go is how'd you do against the Seahawks? Can you knock them down? And if you do knock them down, then you start to feel invincible. You start to feel like, man, the boogie monster is knocked out. We're not afraid of anybody anymore at this point. That's what made 2019's win so special, because I think right there was the last portion of validity that team needed. And I think that if this team is going to continue on the trajectory that it's on, they have to win this game. And then that'll put 49er fans in a position like, okay, now we're not worried about nothing at this point in terms of who's coming up next in the NFC. Played the Packers down to the gun. You knocked out the boogeyman. Cool. Bring on the Bengals. Bring on the Falcons and the rest of this schedule, and you'll feel a lot better about it. That's what I think is more important about this game.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, because really looking at the schedule, we're all over the country these next couple games, and they're not easy teams to play against. And for us to get in, I think we do need to win this game. And to win this game, what do you think it looks like? Kind of like before, Jimmy G right around 20 attempts. If he goes over 25, it looks a little sketchy. And you think Russ is gonna, for as far as fantasy goes, you think he's gonna get like 50+ rushing yards this week? Because it really feels that way watching last game. that last drive, he's like, oh, I could run now. But like, it just like he remembered it all of a sudden, you know?
Well, he also got slammed on the shoulder. I thought he like dislocated his shoulder. Did you see that when he tried to run, he got snatched from behind and kind of slammed and you see him kind of get up kind of slow. I'm like, damn, did he break a collarbone or something? So
well, like Aponte said, I couldn't believe he got caught from behind.
That's
You're
what
like,
I've been
that doesn't
seeing.
happen.
Yeah, that's what I've been seeing too. It's like I know his fingers hurt, but something else is going on. Like it's unexplainable right now what's going on with him at this point. I mean, but again, all that being said, watch this be the week that all of a sudden Russell Wilson starts to play. Well, like the 49ers can't count on his past play to dictate what they think is going to happen in this game. They need to prepare this week just like Russell Wilson was cooking first half of last year, and I think that they'll be in a good spot.
Definitely, especially. And watch DK go off because I'm pretty sure he had 0 targets till the fourth quarter last night.
He did till late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and you know he's like gonna talk to the coaching staff this week and be like, hey, you got to get me involved. He's one of those guys, you know.
Yeah,
and he owned Emmanuel Moseley 2 years ago? Like he had 14 catches or something crazy.
No, it was Spoon.
That was DeAndre Hopkins.
That was Spoon?
Yeah, well, that was DeAndre Hopkins in 2020. But remember, in 2019, Spoon started that game, and then Moseley came in and had that big pass breakup on that fourth down drive. Remember, on that for the last one. So like Moseley held his own a little bit, but in 2020, that was the 14 catch game for DeAndre Hopkins, where they just had Moseley playing 35 yards away from Hopkins.
Okay.
I never understood that game plan.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, but. All right, guys, that's all I got. Thanks for taking the call.
Thanks, Logan.
All right, all good. And by the way, if you guys don't know, this is my guy Jason Aponte on right now. Make sure you guys tune in Jason Aponte's YouTube channel. Aponte, can you tell them where they can find all your stuff?
Yeah, if you type in Jason Aponte on YouTube, it'll pop up. Close to 4,000 subs. So if you can help me get there, that'd be cool, man. And yeah, sprint right option. A lot of other things. State of the franchise with Brad Graham, my fantasy football show on Saturday, where I do Sundays start sit questions, all those things. A lot of content on the channel. So I'm just trying to, we only get a certain amount of weeks for NFL football, so I try to work as hard as I can in these 18 weeks.
All right, real quick. So he is right at near 4,000 subs. So hold on, I'm gonna post your link. I'm trying
Appreciate
to go click. Yeah, let's get him to 4,000 subs. How do I do this? I'm used to doing this on the
the phone.
Yeah, here we go. So yeah, y'all go ahead and here we go, and boom. Subscribe to his YouTube channel, man. He's nearing 4,000 subscribers. That's awesome. We got our guy Sean here. Jimmy G won 16 games on the back of a top 2 defense. He was a passenger on winning teams.
Certain weeks he was.
Yeah, let's get our guy Rich's response to that. Rich,
there he is.
What do you think about that? Jimmy G was 16 games. He has won 16 games on the back of a top 2 defense. He was the passenger on winning teams. What are your thoughts on that? Really, his contribution to winning.
I think you're on mute.
Yeah, you're muted. Rich, you're
muted.
Mute.
Oh, my bad. Morning, Crocky. Morning, Jason. How you guys doing?
Good, Rich.
Yeah. I think there's a little bit of something to that, especially in the beginning of the season. The defense was playing top notch, but I think people forget that in the back half of that season, the defense started to fall off a bit. And, Jimmy had to really up his game, especially against the Saints. I remember the Ravens, he played pretty decent. He had a couple of big-time throws there, one to Deebo Samuel in the rain. So he had to make some big-time throws. So it wasn't just, I hate this narrative that, just because a quarterback doesn't throw 35 times a game that he's not a good quarterback. You still have to make the throws that you have to make. I mean, if you're not making throws on third down, we saw that last night with the Seahawks. Russell Wilson couldn't get off or couldn't sustain any drives on third down. They kept going 3 and out, and it really wore on the defense. You see towards the end of the game, the Washington running game was just picking up steam and just kind of running over Seattle defenders. So I would kind of expect the same thing from the Niners. Run the ball, get them tired, especially if they can contain Russell Wilson, keep getting them 3 and outs like they did the first game. And then Washington did the same thing last night. But I think I'm more confident in this game than I've been in the past with the Seahawks. Even though they're a division game and they've usually had our number, there's something not right with Russell, man. I would be more concerned if Geno was playing, but I don't know if it's Russell's finger. And then the other thing is that when you start seeing teammates like last night with DK Metcalf start to have that squabbling back and forth on the field, there's trouble in paradise. And that's, I've always said, a house divided cannot stand. So it's one of those things where it starts to implode. Teammates start to point fingers. They don't play for one another. And it could get real bad in this Niners game, especially if they go up by a touchdown or two and DK's not getting the ball. Man, we can I mean, there's going to be some finger pointing, some backbiting on that Seahawks sideline. So, but I definitely got Madison. Thanks for the tip, Jason. But I also wanted to get your guys' thoughts on something real quick before I get off. We were talking about this yesterday about the home field advantage and the mystique, and I pointed out, I think that's a thing for a while, but I think eventually it wears out. And I pointed to a couple of instances, like Lambeau Field. That was a place nobody wanted to go play in the playoffs in January. But when Michael Vick and the Falcons went in there and just
good point, crushed the
tore
building
them up, it was like the Lambeau mystique went away. It was all of a sudden these teams went in there and they knew that they could beat Green Bay just like Vic did. So these home field advantages are come and go. And I think we've seen the mystique kind of wear out at CenturyLink or whatever it's called now.
Lumen Field.
But yeah, and the other thing is I was telling him is home field advantage don't work for us. The Niners up until last week were like hadn't won a game at home for a year and a half.
Well, they beat the Rams at home, but yeah,
everybody but the Rams.
Yeah.
But also too, one thing that kind of goes into that. Remember, 49ers played half their home games in Arizona last year, so that's part of it.
Yeah, that's true. But anyway, I appreciate you guys' time, man. Jason, I always appreciate what you do. Keep up the good content. Crocky, like always, man. Thank you for having me on, and look forward to hearing the rest of your day, man. Oh, by the way, did you get that camera in Birmingham yesterday?
Wait, huh?
I thought you said you were gonna check out a camera yesterday.
Oh yeah, I didn't have enough time to do it. I didn't have enough time to do it. Yeah.
All right, man.
So yeah, I will be getting. All right, man. Appreciate you.
All right, Rich.
All right, thanks.
Later, man. If I could say something real quick about this comment right here. Just because, all right. Yes, Jimmy Garoppolo and many quarterbacks need a good defense around them, right? And to operate efficiently. But I think that there's certain instances where Jimmy Garoppolo lifted up the defense. One that kind of comes to mind in 2019 was the first Arizona game in Halloween. He played phenomenal in that game. Emmanuel Sanders was there. He made some big time throws in that game. The Rams game is another game that you could think of. The defense wasn't exactly stopping them. He made, obviously, whatever people want to say, that throw to Emmanuel Sanders would have been a walk-in touchdown if it's placed in the right place. But hey, whatever, they get the field goal, they win the game. So while I largely agree with what Sean is saying here, he won on the back of the top two defenses. A lot of quarterbacks would have, but that same sort of excuse gets thrown around when Aaron Rodgers doesn't finish the job. Man, his defense let him down. Man, it's a little bit of both, right? Like it has to be a little bit of both in terms of that, right? Like everybody else,
he has no help. He doesn't have the receivers.
He doesn't have his help, right? You're like, oh man, Kevin King lets that catch go in the NFC Championship game, but like it's Aaron Rodgers, right? He should be able to overcome that. So it's a little bit of both in my eyes.
Yeah, no, I agree. But all right, Jason, I'm gonna get you out of here, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate you, and you got me to 4,000 subs. Too. You got me over to 4,000. Appreciate everybody who joined, man. Really? And that was quick. Yeah, man. I just checked right now on my YouTube studio. Appreciate that, man. It's a big milestone. And thank you guys for tapping in. There's going to be a lot of content this week. So glad that you guys are on there. If you're on there, make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when we're going live and new videos are uploaded.
I put it in there again. So everybody, I just dropped the link in there again. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my guy's YouTube channel. Appreciate you, big dog.
Appreciate you, Croc, man. Take it easy.
All right, here we go. So, was paying Armstead a mistake? Ooh, great question. I don't. Armstead has been good he's like cool with my son. But yeah, so I don't want to say anything negative about him. But I would say, I haven't really noticed him out there for whatever the reason is. Now, why I couldn't tell you why. Maybe he's taking on doubles. Maybe there's things that he's doing, setting edges. He's doing things that are good, but I couldn't tell you if it was a mistake or not. I want to say it's not a mistake, but you would like to see, a little bit more flash from him. Listen to my mom. My mom says, everyone hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. All right. Again, Underdog Fantasy, promo code Crocky. Manscaped. Go ahead right now. Manscaped.com. Everything on there. Once you use the promo code Crocky, 20% off of everything. All right. So use that Manscaped. You see the shirt right here. I got the hats for sale. If you guys don't already, follow me on Twitter at Eric_Crocker. Follow me on Instagram. It's CrocTime_you, but just type in Eric Crocker. I should pop up. And DM me if you want hats. Again, I got the flat bill hats with the red. I got it with the blue, with the cool blue. I got the beanies. I got the dad hats in both colors as well. So holla at me if y'all want some of this merchandise. All right, here we go. Grant Cohn, Armstead contract was a bust. I would say that they probably would like to have Buckner instead of Armstead. Would you take would you pay $4 million more per year to Buckner right now? Do you have that money to be able to do that? I think if you would have known that you were going to eventually have a rookie quarterback, you probably would say, yeah, they kind of miscalculated that. So here we go. Croc, when will the hats be available for purchase? They're available now, but I don't have a store. So I gotta set up a store. My website, I gotta call the people. My website's done, but what I'll do is I'll end up adding a store to my website, and y'all be able to put in your stuff from there, purchase it, and then we'll get it shipped off. But right now I'm doing everything manually. So if you do want a hat, DM me at Eric_Crocker on Twitter, at Eric, or type in Eric Crocker on Instagram. It's CrocTime_you. All right, that's my name. You'll see blue check. Both my accounts are verified. So find me on those accounts, DM me, and we'll get you set up. And I'm shipping everything out Friday. I appreciate all the Jimmy G all day. Let's go, Jimmy G. All right, I appreciate everybody that's in here. Everybody that's in here today. 270 of you guys. Hit the like button if you haven't already. I appreciate all the contributions. I appreciate my guy Jason Laponte for coming in here and dropping some of his 49ers knowledge on y'all. Again, you already know what time it is, man. We're going to be right back here tomorrow morning. Same time, same place, 6:30 a.m. Pacific, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. But until then, I'm out. Peace.
Intercepted. It is picked off by Eric Crocker over midfield.
Hold on. Thought we were out. Got a contribution here. One on the sidelines, but it didn't matter. Average player. So you're saying Fred Warner is the average player? We'll get into that on the next show. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about Fred Warner. I'm going to actually watch some film on him so I can get more of a legit take, I guess, on him, a better analysis on what exactly he's doing or not doing. All right. So tomorrow we'll get into that. Fred Warner, what's going on in him? Is he more of an average player? Are we not going to miss him in this game? It's going to be a good take. All right, we'll get into all that and more. There we go. I like it, man. Keep it locked right here. Now we're out. Peace.
Intercepted. It is picked off by Eric Crocker over midfield. He'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Croc Talk TV podcast.
Peace.